This is a video for how to go about utilizing the rigid group function in Fusion 360. You will notice that on the screen I have a box that I've made that has no top, and over here on the left hand side you'll see I have a bottom, a back, a right side, and a left side of the box. And I've made this box through something known as the top-down creation method in Fusion. And just to give you an idea of what top-down creation method means, I'm going to go ahead and create the top of the box very quickly here. So if I go up to Create Sketch and I click on the top surface here, I'm going to hit P on my keyboard for Project Geometry, and I'm going to project some lines, and I'm going to say OK. I'm going to grab hold of a two-point rectangle, and I'm going to go ahead and just connect these two opposite dots diagonal from each other, and I'm going to say Extrude. And once I click on my four surfaces here, I'm going to choose New Component. And I know that my distance that I want to extrude this, how thick I want to make this piece, is 1/4 of an inch. So I put in 0.25 and I say OK. And you'll notice over here I have component 6, which is now the top piece. So I can rename that by tapping once, tapping again. And I'm going to call this top piece. Now the reason why I demonstrated that before I actually showed you rigid group is these pieces do not have any joints on them. They are made in place. So since I did a top-down creation method, I don't have anything up here that says joints. I could take this top and drag it off the box. It is not constrained. So if I come up and I click undo, it's going to come back here. Now, how can I go about putting joints in to where these will all stay put, to where I can't just drag them apart because they're technically not joined together? I could come up to Assemble and go down to something known as built joint, and it would ask me to say, you just want to do 2 components and just place that, and I would have to go ahead and say, OK here, and I don't want to do that. I want to say this whole thing in here, this whole entire box is one rigid group. So we can go up to Assemble and go down to something called rigid group, and it's going to ask us which components do you want to make a rigid group of, and I'm going to click on each one of my components over here on the left hand side, and I'm going to say OK. This now gives me something under joints that says rigid group. Whenever I hold down and move this now, it's going to move as one thing. Now, if I wanted this to completely stay put, so if I was going to, let's say if I was going to put, a hole in this and put a crankshaft in the side or something, this would still be moving even though it's one rigid group. In order to keep that from happening, I would need to find, let's say, the bottom piece, right click on that and go to ground. I'm just going to go ahead and say capture position here. Once I ground this piece, I can't move this. It is a rigid group, and now I have grounded the bottom piece, which is the foundation of the entire box. Note that we've done this without having to go up to Assemble and go to Joint and do all these joints and pop the whole thing together. This is, in a way, kind of a shortcut for something that, if you have just this box here as its own thing, and we want all these pieces just to be rigid together, I can do that without having to go up and utilize every single joint command. Makes things very efficient and smooth for a design where you've used the top-down method and you have multiple components and you want them all to relate to each other just as one group. So this has been a video for how to go about utilizing the rigid joint group in Fusion 360.